Well, what we got here is a Dana 44 front end, same front end and half tons, 3/4 tons. There's not really any difference. This one here actually came factory with the 456 gear ratio as an option. And the tag on here told me that right away. It was either going to be a 411 or 410, something like that, and the 456. So I got lucky and it's got the 456s. But this is an open diff and there's no positive traction up front. The rear has that 14 bolt with the, I don't know what they call it, but it is a limited slip in the rear. So it's good enough for now. There's nothing up front to give me any assist, just a one wheel wonder. I am actually in the middle of changing U-joint and ball joint on the axle. So while I have it up here on the jack stands and the axle out, which is probably gonna make it easier, I'm gonna go ahead and throw a locker in the front. I'm gonna pull the spider gears out and put one of these mini spools in. It's really cheap and there's no reason why it won't work for this application. It's mainly gonna be just off-road. So this will work great. And all I gotta do really is just pull the spider gears out and drop this in. Doing a budget build. So I bought a mini spool and I'm gonna put that up front. Some guys say that's not a good idea. Other guys say there's no reason it won't work with lock-in hubs. I can unlock them and drive it around, or lock in one, or lock in both. It may be hard to steer, but I want to try it out. Pretty cheap, and it's a good price to do an experiment. So what I'm wanting to do is I'm going to pull this apart. I haven't changed the fluids in this ever. I've had it a long time. So it gives me an opportunity to change fluids, check out the gears, look at everything inside, and put that mini spool in. I made one mistake on doing all this work. I should have hit it with a pressure washer before I even started any of the work. I've kicked myself a couple of times because it's just a mess. I get greasy, it's messy. So I'm gonna clean this up. Well, I was wrong on the 456. It's 455. I don't know if you can read that or not. But 455 gears, that's good. Okay. Wow, is there anything in there? Oh yeah. Super thick. All right, so this is an open diff. These are my spider gears. I'm going to remove these spider gears. There's a pin in there. I don't know if you can see that. Let me get a better light. So there's a pin in here. I need to knock that pin out. And once that's out, I can rotate these gears. And when I spin them, these top and bottom little gears will roll out. And I should be able to just pull them right out. And then these side gears will just pull out too. Okay, I just realized a couple of things going on. One, this carrier, to pull that pin, usually has a bolt. It's a roll pin. Not that big a deal, I'll just knock it out. But messing with that, I realized that pin is not going to come out past those teeth. So to change these spider gears on this unit, I'm going to have to pull the carrier out and knock that ring gear loose just to get that pin out. What's going on there for sure, but it's not as simple as I was hoping. I had to pull the carrier so I can get that pin out, so I can pull the spider gears out and put that mini spool in. All right, now I can knock that roll pin out and drop them gears out of there. I don't have to knock it out all the way, just enough to get that pin out. All right. Now I'm just going to roll this up here a little bit further. One of the spider gears, the other one's going to pop out the other side here. There's the other one. Got a little shim on top. Little spider gear. And then the side gears will fall out. Side gear. And the other side gear. Now there are shims in here on there. I don't think we're going to need those. I'll grab that set and we'll set it in there. So this piece replaces one of the spider gears. See the similarity and not similarity. All right, so we'll set that in here. Like that. Set that one in here. There we go. Like that. And these are supposed to go in here similarly to the spider gears. Like that. And we'll rotate them around to where they line up here, where we can set that pin in. See that or not? And then we'll set that pin back in. Now when I put this pin back in, I'm going to try to get that hole aligned with that best I can. At least be aware of it. I'm falling. Just going to gently tap that in. Oops. There. All right. Still trying to be aware of this. Okay. Now I need to drive that pin back down. Clean this off. All right. I'm going to try to line up bolt here. Oh. Yeah, that'll work out.
Okay. Okay, we're going to torque this to 60 pounds. Oh, I missed that one. Okay. All right, now I can put that back in. Whoop. I don't want to forget that. Oops. Or that one. It's going to be a tight fit getting back in there, I think.
All right, so I'm going to torque these to 60 pounds. Isn't a lot. All right, this is torqued. I had a concern with the axles fitting in here. Typically, the axle comes in quite a ways. There's just that little bolt separating the two axle ends. So I was a little concerned. I didn't know if I was going to have to take any off the end of the axles. But I got the right-hand axle in. It went in just fine. I need to throw in the left-hand axle, and I'm pretty confident it's going to fit fine. So anyhow, right now all I need to do is throw the cover on and gear oil in here, and then we'll get the axle back in over here and put it all back together. So believe it or not, there's a torque spec for these bolts, 20 pounds. Some people do it, most people don't. I won't. So anyhow, I need to put gear oil in here and button her up.
All right, so I wound up nipping off about 1/8 of an inch off the end of this. It was just shy, just a little bit shy of coming in tight here on the end. So now we can get this installed. Go back in there all the way. I took this to the wire wheel, cleaned up this area near where that seal is going to ride, just so I don't get debris in there. I also took the wire wheel, cleaned up this area here so that it would slide into the housing better, and I put some anti-seize on it for next time so I can take it back apart. And I also added some more grease to the little bearings in here in the spindle. Check those out, add some grease to it, about the only chance you're going to get. And I like to install these with that groove up, just so I know where they're at all the time. Okay. So I don't know a lot about these Selectro hubs. They're pretty old school. I don't see them unless they're on an old pickup. I don't know why. But what I like about these is you can just grab it with your gloves on or whatever and give that a twist. It's just that simple. Otherwise, you got to grab hold that little piece like the Warren and the Mile Marker and other brands. You got to grab that little thing in the middle and twist, and can't always get a good grip on it, especially if your hands are cold. But these are pretty cool. I don't know if they're super tough. This is good heavy steel here, and the inner lock seems pretty heavy duty. The rest of it's light metal, like all the rest of them. But it's pretty cool. I like it. So while I was doing this, I wound up doing a few other little things. I opened up the fenders a little bit more so the tires wouldn't hit. I put a zero rate spring, just basically a little 3/4 inch lift spacer. Just add 3/4 of more inch here since I was in there. And a few other little things, but I got it all taken care of. Now I'm just ready to go test drive it.
hard to steer with that locker, especially on the harder surfaces. I'm in the gravel and it's still skipping and hopping. I mean, it's kind of like you're in low range four-wheel drive, but it's hard to turn, and some of that could be my steering geometry, but it's definitely a little harder to steer. Going backwards turns great going back, but it's definitely, you got to put some elbow into it. If I had hydro assist steer, probably would take care of all the problems. Watch the road. Oh, that way. We're gonna go up here and drive up on a rock or two and try the front end, the suspension out, and the locker, see how everything goes. There's a pile of rocks right here, so I'm gonna pick a big one and drive up on it. Okay, so the cheap locker, it works. It works good. Had great traction. I didn't have to worry about it breaking, but there are drawbacks. Drawbacks are steering. It's really hard to steer, especially if you're on a harder surface. When I was in the mud and loose gravel and even in the sand, it was really good. When I got on some hard packed gravel road, it was hard to steer. And backing up, sometimes it would steer easier, and other times it was just, you had to fight it. So it depends on your steering, how your power steering works and all that. If I had hydro assist steer, it would have been phenomenal. I don't think I would have had any issues steering at all. Now when I unlocked one hub, it was really good. It's gonna be perfect. Unlock one hub, you still got really good traction when you need it, that full locker, lock in the other hub. Would I do it again? Yes. Would I upgrade? Definitely. I would definitely upgrade from this to some sort of a lunchbox locker or something like that. But for the money, it's phenomenal. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend that to somebody that was on a budget going in knowing there's going to be steering issues. So anyhow, I hope this is helpful. I hope you found this interesting. Maybe answered questions. So I appreciate you watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and we'll catch up with you guys later. Thanks. Bye.